Guys, yay, we are at 100,000 subscribers. Super excited. I told you guys that we'd be doing a Q&A once we reached 100,000. So here is that Q&A. I posted in the community area for you guys to post your questions. So here's some questions. What made you decide to go from acting to directing? Also, do you know any worthy charities to donate to? Very different questions. So I decided to go from acting to directing because I'd always wanted to direct. I was younger and I would be directed by people and I'd feel like, oh, I know what they want, but I don't feel like they're describing it to me as best as they could be. That's when I felt like maybe I could be good at directing. Also, I love bringing emotion out of people and having conversations about the root of emotions and the motivation of scenes and all that kind of psychological stuff. Also, I love picking shots and communicating with the DP, and I'm a control freak, so all of that kind of works together to create what was my desire to direct. I love it so far and hope to continue doing it. Also, okay, the charity's Thirst Project is a great charity that builds wells in countries that don't have access to clean water. So I highly suggest that charity, or St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Those are two great charities that I like a lot. But hey, choose your own charity, you know what I mean? Find your own taste in charities. And that was from Everyday Adventures of Vic and Jay. Christina Lenkowski says, hey Jennette, I've been a Mccurdian since I've been in 4th grade. Now I'm a senior in high school. That's so cool. Thank you, Christina. That's really, really sweet. She said, I feel like I've grown up with you as a role model. That's too much pressure, but thanks. So I wanted to know if you have any advice for me as I go into college. I'm hoping to pursue a BFA in stage management, going into the arts. Sometimes I doubt myself a lot, so if you have any advice for me going into the arts, I would appreciate it. So you doubt yourself, Christina. That never goes away. I don't think that goes away for anyone, and I think anybody who says that it has gone away for them is just lying. So push through that doubt. Don't overthink it. Don't overanalyze the doubt. Action is the most important thing. Just keep putting effort toward the things that you care about and toward the things that you want to be working on, and put your energy into the right places and don't put your energy into the wrong places. Self-doubt being one of those places. That's my best advice. The following message is irrelevant. Asks, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? I don't know. That's a tough question. I definitely do a lot of goal setting and dreaming about the future, but I'd just love to still be directing and writing projects that I'm passionate about and things that I think are funny and interesting and unique. That'd be sweet. Moss Isley Blues asked, what would be an example of a corny question? Because I said, when I posted my thing in the community section, I said, please, no corny questions. Like, I'm only going to be answering interesting questions. And to me, an example of a corny question is like, what's your most embarrassing moment? Or what's your favorite flavor of pop rock or something? I don't know. Just like random questions that don't, who cares types of questions. So those are the corny ones to me. Sonia Sean Noor asks, what is that one thing that brings you inner peace and serenity? That's such a good question, because I mean, I don't think there's one particular thing. I think it's a state of mind. I think listening to audiobooks, listening to self-improvement type of audiobooks. Recently I listened to one called Things Fall Apart by Pima Chodron. She said, she always says in the book, like, hot with desire. Like, this thing, if you're hot with desire, or this thing is hot with desire, like, everything's hot with desire, and that just, it felt weird to me when I was listening to it. But other than that, I really like that book, Things Fall Apart, and I like books that are, just about self-improvement or spirituality without being religious, just kind of spiritual undertones. I enjoy that a lot. Also, something that brings me inner peace and serenity is nature. I think that's a really common one for a reason. I love going to parks, going to gardens, and solitude. I think solitude is really important for inner peace and serenity. I need to have time alone in order to refuel, in order to reflect and dream about the future. All those things I think I do best when I'm alone. So definitely solitude is important for inner peace and serenity. I'm curious, what are your guys? What do you do for your inner peace and serenity? I feel like that's a question just asking for trouble. That's like bringing out all the yogis right there. Stacey Kennedy says, hey Jennette, I've been a huge fan of you for years. I've struggled a lot from body issues in the past, and I suffered from an eating disorder for about a year. I was really inspired by your positivity, essays, and self-love quest years back. They helped me a lot, and I want to thank you for that. I was just wondering how you found your confidence, and if body issues were something you'd ever struggled with. If so, how'd you get through it? Thanks for being such an inspiration. Wish you the best with everything. Stacey Kennedy, that's so nice. What a lovely comment. Body image issues are an interesting subject matter. Stay tuned. I have a short film coming out soon. That's all I'll say about that, but just stay tuned. Watch that. As for confidence and self-love, I feel like it's a tricky territory because it's such a thing that's talked about nowadays, like self-love, but a part of me wonders if it's just a hamster wheel and the things that we see that are talking about like how to find self-love, if we're really getting to the heart of the matter, or if it's all just kind of surfacey stuff. Like, I don't know, if you see articles online where it's like find more love for yourself. It'll say like, do your nails, that'll pick you up. And I just don't think that that's like gonna do it. I don't think that's the birthplace of self-love. To me, I think confidence and self-love come through doing things that give you a genuine sense of purpose. For me, a huge part of my sense of purpose comes from writing things that I really believe in. Obviously, each person has a different thing, so maybe yours is archery or ballet dancing or something, but if you find that thing that you're really passionate about, that you can lose yourself in because that thing means so much to you, I think that's like the best way to find confidence and self-love. More important than self-love, I would say, I think, is self-respect, because I don't think you can have love without respect. So I think the first place to start is respect, because I think there's some, oh God, this is getting really, you'll see my overthinking side is going to come through here, but I feel like self-hate can really come through in attempted acts of self-love. So I think that people who might still have a lot of like self-loathing can be doing self-love things and wondering why it doesn't feel like self-love. I know I've certainly been there. So to me, it's a matter of finding that baseline foundational self-respect first, and then you can kind of graduate to self-love. But you gotta respect yourself before you can love yourself. For the next question, what was the hardest role in your acting career? I played a child prostitute when I was 12. That was pretty tough. What is something you're looking most forward to this year besides career stuff? They specify besides career stuff, and that's from Christy Reno. I have a trip coming up that I planned with one of my best friends, Hardy. Her name's Allison, her last name's Hardy, and I call her Hardy. We're going to Colorado, and I absolutely can't wait for that. We're gonna have tea, and it's just gonna be snowy and wonderful and amazing, and it's gonna be super fun. Microwrap asked, what made you interested in making a YouTube channel? Honestly, I was writing something, and there was a character who did YouTube vlogging, and I hadn't watched much YouTube at all over the past 5, 6, 7 years. So for this project, I started watching YouTube more to get a sense of what kind of vloggers are out there so I could write an accurate depiction of a vlogger. And then I just kind of got really into it, and I enjoyed a lot of what I was watching, and I thought, oh, this is kind of a fun community. I like what they're doing here, so I wanted to join and be a part of it. And now here I am. If you could collaborate with any YouTuber, who would it be? From Raymond Fuster. Emma Chamberlain. I also really like James Charles. Or I've said before, the Tim Tracker. I really hope someday I'll be at Disney World and they'll have me doing a video while I'm there. Jesus Trevino says, as an Eric Andre fan, I always wondered, were you actually about to break or were you just being nice? When I did the show, yeah, I was taken off guard. Like, I'd obviously seen his show before, so I knew kind of what was in the cards for me, but it was still surprising and weird and uncomfortable, but also fun, and I think he's great, so I was happy to do it. Nikki Official says summer or winter? Winter, for sure. Easy question, but I just love Christmas. I love winter activities. It's all so much more magical than sweaty hot summer. Mike Hunt says, you've obviously been too busy to focus on YouTube, which is fine, but do you have any future big plans for your channel? I have been pretty busy, but I've been trying to do some content for YouTube, as you guys can see from my uploads. I do have some future plans. I'm excited to roll out some of the content that I've been brainstorming about. Tucker9 asks, how was your 2018 as a whole? What are some things you learned, and what are some of your goals for 2019? How was your trip to Alaska as well? There's a lot going on there. I'm just gonna have to unload now. 2018 as a whole was really good. It was a super solid year. I feel like my years have been progressively getting better. A real low point for me was when I was 21 in 2013, and that was super challenging. And then 2014 and 2015 weren't super great either. There were some things that I learned, some personal things that I was dealing with, some things that I learned that were just really difficult to process and handle, which I might share with you guys at some point. But those were a couple tough years, and then progressively since then, each year's just been building and growing, and I've been enjoying them more and more, and 2018 was the best one yet, and so far 2019 is fabulous as well. I don't like using the word fabulous, so I don't know why I just said that. Fantastic or like awesome or sweet or are more up my alley. Oh, and my trip to Alaska was amazing. I loved it. I'd love to go back there. I'd love to visit it more. Anchorage was filled with nice people. So many of you guys came up and said hey and chatted, and just a really nice group of people, those Anchorageans. Elaine Kiko asks, what kind of work content can we expect from you in the future? If I had to sum up the kind of stuff that I like to do dark comedic content, and I feel like that can kind of be an overused term. I would say that anything that I do has kind of an offbeat sense of humor and also some heart to it, some substance, hopefully. Hopefully anything that I make is thought-provoking or prompts questions in one way or another. prompt discussions. Maybe not necessarily YouTube Q&A uploads, but in terms of like the more polished short films and work that I do in that capacity. That's what I hope for. Lord of Doom asks, what is harder, acting or producing directing? Definitely producing directing. I think it's a lot more challenging. It's a lot more all-encompassing. There's a lot more gears shifting all at once that you got to deal with. Acting, I think, you know, if you're an emotional person, if you have a certain level of sensitivity, then I think there's sort of a naturalness to it, which I feel like I have. But definitely producing and directing is much more rewarding than acting. That's all the questions I'm going to answer for now. I'm going to finish up there because I got some work to do, some things that I have to get into. But thank you guys so much for sending in your questions. I had a lot of fun answering them, and I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm so excited we're at 100,000. That's freaking awesome, and I am excited to show you guys some new videos and some new content. Thanks for your support. Love you all. Bye.